Welcome back to my channel, and if it's your first time here, welcome too. Please subscribe and also hit the bell icon so you never miss any update. Today, I'll teach you how to draft a custom-made skirt pattern. This is a great foundation block for creating so many beautiful skirt designs. We need just 3 measurements. Your waist circumference, taken snugly without any ease. Your hip circumference, also taken without any ease. And the length from your natural waist to knee length. You can tie a string around your waist like so to help you determine your natural waist reference point. The amount for waist to hip difference differs from person to person. And of course, we have the buttocks, which also contributes to this difference. Hence, we'll be using our channeled skirt drafting table, which takes into consideration these differences to help us achieve a customized fit. The items I need for drafting the skirt block is my measuring tape, my hip curve ruler, my straight ruler, a pencil, an eraser in case I need to erase anything, a marker pen. I'll be using this to go over it just so you can see it more clearly, but I advise that you use a pencil when drafting yours. I'll be using the channel drafting basic table. I'll put a link in the description below so you can download it for your own use. Pattern paper, which I already have here. Of course, after drafting, I'll also use a scissors to cut out the pattern. Lastly, we will need the measurement for drafting. I've already taken the measurement on the dress form and I've recorded it here. So go ahead and take your own measurement and record it. We'll add ease amounts. For hip, I'm using 1 inch for the dress form, but I advise that you add 2 inches ease for yourself. So the hip is 38 inches plus 1 inch in this case, making 39 inches. Waist is 28 inches plus 0.5 inches is making 29 inches. So we take the difference between the hip measurement with ease and the waist measurement with ease. And in this case, we have 10 inches. So our difference is 10 inches and I write it here. Based on the difference we have, we will now identify where we'll be using on the basic drafting table. So our difference of 10 inches falls in row 4. So we'll be using all the parameters in this row for drafting. I believe by now you have taken your measurement. Go ahead and add 2 inches ease to your hip and 0.5 inches to your waist measurement. Work out the difference and identify where you will be using on this chart. So having got all of that now, we'll go ahead straight and start drafting. To draw the rectangle, I have used the width of half of the hip measurement plus ease. In this case, it is 39 inches. So half of that is 19.5 inches. And that is what I've used to draft the width of this. And the length is the length we have here, which is 20 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and label the rectangle so that you can understand it better. This is my center front line. And this is my center back line. This is my hem line. this line I will call the side waistline, but I'll go ahead and write it in pencil because we'll be making some adjustments later. So side waistline. So the next step is to divide the rectangle vertically using the parameters in this chart that matches the value for the measurements we are using. And that is in row 4. I will have to make back hip more than the front hip by 3/4 inches. But remember that this is for the whole skirt. But right now, the measurement we have here on this rectangle is for half of the hip measurement. Therefore, we will divide this value of 3/4 inches by 2, and this will give us 3/8 inches. So we are going to make the back part 3/8 inches more than the front part when we divide this rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So to divide the rectangle, we take out the amount of 3/8 inches first on the back part, starting from the center back line, because the back side is going to be 3/8 inches more than the front side to cater for the buttocks at the back. Now we take the balance of what we have. We have 19 and 1/8 inches left, so we divide that amount by 2 and then we mark that. So we now measure from the center back line to include the 3/8 inches and check what the value is. I'm having a value of 10 inches, so I'll go ahead and mark the 10 inches all the way. So I'll go ahead and use the points marked and draw a vertical line like so. Now mark it out in marker pen as well. So we have now divided the rectangle vertically. This is the back part and this is the front part. And the back part is 3/8 inches more than the front part, as I said, to cater for the buttocks at the back. The next thing we're going to do is to divide this rectangle horizontally. We will use the following standard measurements to divide horizontally. So I'll mark down from the side waistline 5 inches, and then next 8 inches, and then 10 inches. And we'll do the same here on the center back line. And also on the center front line. We will mark the 5 inches, 8 inches, and 10 inches. Now we will draw horizontal lines to connect all those points that we marked. This is the hip yoke line, and this is the upper hip line and the lower hip line. So I'm going to go ahead and label them. Hip yoke line, upper hip line, and the lower hip line. I'll label the same on the back as well. Now go ahead and label the side seam line. So this is the side seam line. I'll write that SS, meaning side seam. So next we are going to calculate the side waist corner. We're going to calculate by how much we're going to take in at the side to create the skirt hip curve. So this is the calculation we're going to make. Our hip plus is, which is 39 inches in this case, minus our waist plus is, which is 29 inches. And this will give us 10 inches. Now we need half of this. So which is the same thing as 10 divided by 2. And we have 5 inches. Now we need to utilize the dart intake information in the drafting table. So on this row, our front dart intake is 1 inch. So we come here, we take the 5 inches that we have minus the 1 inch, and we have 4 inches. Then we'll go ahead and minus the back dart intake, which is 1 1/4 inches. So 4 minus 1 1/4 inches. And this will give us 2 3/4 inches. So you go ahead and make your own calculation. Now these 2 3/4 inches that we have will be shared between the front side and the back side. So we'll divide the 2 3/4 inches by 2. So we can make it easy for ourselves by using our tape. So here we have 2 3/4 inches on the tape, and we fold that into 2 to give us the half portion. And we have 1 3/8 inches. So on each side of the side seam, we will take in 1 3/8 inches. So now we'll mark 1 3/8 inches on each side of the side seam line. This method allows us to have a balanced side seam. Now we'll connect from the point marked to the upper hip line, like so. So we'll draw this on the back, just like this. And we'll go ahead and do the same on the front. So we'll connect the point from the waist marked to the upper hip line as well. So note that we have done this, that is taking the same amount on the sides in order to have a balanced hip side seam. So the next step is to draw the waistline. We get the waistline by coming down by ½ inch from the side waistline. So we mark the point ½ inch down like so. Now we draw the line connecting the points we marked on the front. And also on the back. Now we'll go ahead and label this line. This is our waist line. Next, we need to lower our front waistline using the lowering parameter on our chart. So on this row, our front lowering is 3/4 inches. So we're going to go ahead and lower 3/4 inches for the front waist like so. So we measure down 3/4 inches from the waistline and not from the side waistline. So we'll connect from the side waistline to the center front lowered in a smooth curve like so. I'll go ahead now and go over it in red marker pen. On the back, we connect from the side waistline to the waistline in a slight smooth curve like so. Also, I'll go over it in red marker pen. I'll go ahead and mark the hip curve in the black marker pen also. Now we're almost done. The only thing left is to place our front and back waist darts. So to do that, we're going to measure our waist curves and mark the halfway points. On the front here, I have 8 and 1/8 inches. So we take the halfway point by dividing the tape in two like so. Then we go ahead and measure from the center front line and mark the halfway point. The front waist dart intake here is 1 inch, so we mark 1/2 inch on each side of the marked point. Now we draw the dart center leg, following on from the marked point, making sure to keep our ruler at 90 degrees to the front waistline as much as possible. Now we draw the line, making the front waist dart line 4 inches. Next, we connect from the end of that line to the 2 points marked on each side to complete the dart legs. So our front waist dart is completed. I'll go ahead and mark that in the black marker pen. We're going to do the same at the back. So we take the waist curve measurement as well, and we have 8 and 3/4 inches here. Now we'll fold this measurement on the tape in two to get our halfway point, like so. Now we mark that halfway point starting from the center back line. From that point, we're going to mark down the back waist dart center line, keeping the ruler at 90 degrees as much as possible to the waistline. So the back waist dart length will be 5 inches. Next, we mark half of the back waist dart intake on each side of the dart center point and draw the dart legs as well. So we'll draw in the dart legs now. Having done that, our skirt block is now completed. Now let's take a closer look at what we have done. So here we have the side waistline. We came down by 1/2 inch to get our real waistline, and this is in accordance with our body shape. Also, following our drafting table, we lowered the front waist by the recommended amount. In this case, it was 3/4 inches. and we connected from there to get the front waistline. Now on the back, we also came down from the side waistline by 1/2 inch to get the real waistline, but we didn't have to do any lowering, so we just went ahead and connected from the side waistline to the actual waistline. We went ahead and placed our darts, have our side seams, of our center front line, our center back line, and the skirt block is completed. We'll be using this skirt block for making our skirts and also to fuse with the bodice block for making dresses. In our future videos, I will show you how you can do that, but for now, I'm just going to go ahead and trace this out for making the skirt. So I've gone ahead and traced onto another pattern paper. I've traced the front and traced the back and cut them out. So as you can see, that's what we have here exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and use them and cut out on fabric. Meanwhile, this being the master copy will be saved for future projects. Here I lay my pattern on the fabric. This is the center front, so it is placed on fold, following the instruction here. And then this is the back. Notice that I have placed the grain line parallel to the selvage, making sure that the distance from the grain line to the selvage is equal to ensure a good drip and balance of the skirt. Next, I'll go ahead and apply the seam allowances and then cut it out. So I've gone ahead and cut it out, applying the seam allowances all through and marking the notches. So make sure you mark the notches for that both at the front and at the back. I'm now going to go ahead and sew it, and I will show you the end result. This is not particularly a video for the sewing process. This is for making the skirt block, but I would like to show you what the end result of this block is. So let me go ahead and sew it, and I'll come right back to show you what I've got. So here is the completed skirt. So I'll show you the inside as well. I went ahead and inserted a lining. I feel it's a good way to always add lining if possible, especially with the African print fabric. Here you see the waistband neatly finished. And if I turn it inside out, you can see I have a clean and neat finish. And that's the zip. The zip has been neatly finished as well. I went ahead and created an opening for ease of working. So everything is all neatly hemmed and finished. So I'll go ahead now and show you the skirt on the dress form. Hope you found this tutorial helpful. Why not try it out and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Bye for now.